And we're live. Welcome to the Gordox Pub. Now we're getting inky. Okay, maybe, but still, it's close.
Now we're getting what?
Inky. I know it's paint. Yeah, but whatever. Oh.
Well, you're going to have to bring your butt over here and say, hold on, you hang on. He said, hi, Brett, I'm eating pizza.
Oh, yeah?
You have to bring your butt over here and tell him. He's like,
you did pizza?
hang on, chewing. You're back. Did you catch your hay?
I think. Maybe.
He didn't hear you.
Let's see what's up.
What?
No, the moment's gone. Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinning down this paint really extremely. Apparently too extremely right there.
Okay.
Unlike watercolor, you can cover everything because you're going to get wetter anyway. So what we're starting off doing is toning the paper.
I don't know why, but that reminded me of Hans and Franz. You know, I want to pump you off.
I don't know why either.
Full tone. Ooh, I didn't know that. The Penguin comes out today on Max.
But you don't have time to watch movies.
Well, I'm not. Notice I'm not watching it.
But you also said, ooh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Going to.
Well, I am looking forward to that. I just don't know when I'm going to see it. That's like the last Alien movie I wanted to go see, never did. Woot. So I posted some videos of like how to see your grades and stuff on Moodle for my class, and yeah, so I guess I started the channel, I think Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. Now I'm up to 13 subscribers. Which is funny because I told the kids, you guys, you don't need to subscribe or anything. Like, it's cool if you do. But, whatever. Some of the stuff I don't see people putting a lot of Moodle content that I think is easy. Or exactly the way I use it. So I thought I'd post what I do. It also helps for some of my colleagues when they have to figure out, like, if they're subbing and whatnot, or if the ones that work in my class that have access to my Moodle and they're like, I don't know how to do anything. So I thought the videos might be the fastest way to get them trained. All because I had to watch a training video from the state of Indiana, and that thing was monetized.
It was monetized?
Yeah. Had ads. Well, they're guaranteed a certain amount of watch hours every year.
Right.
And it's a lot of watch hours if you think, if it's like everyone that has to give one of these tests. So, yeah. Rich, have you ever seen Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of story would you say that is?
By what metric?
If you were to describe
Like the mice potion, or
just like, where would you put it in a bookstore?
thriller?
Thriller?
Yeah, because thriller covers pretty much horror, suspense. It could be a spy thriller, it could be a psychological thriller, it could be just a horror movie. Or book, or whatever. Why?
Well, I had an idea for a story which I think is somewhat similar structurally to the birds. Like it's kind of wrapped around an unexplained event that just doesn't. I mean, it gets resolved, but it doesn't. I mean, the birds just they drive away. I think, if I remember correctly, and the birds just stop being weird. So,
yeah, because the point is survival.
Right. So, I mean, it's not quite like that because this isn't a survival. But I was trying to figure out what I would classify because I'm like, okay, it's weird, but I don't plan on killing anyone, and I don't.
Yeah, I don't think you have to kill someone in the thriller.
I know.
Usually, our mysteries usually are mysteries of solved while outrunning or surviving dangerous situations.
Well, I just the way I thought about it, I mean, the reason why I said that I'm not going to kill anyone is because, like, I don't really know if I would classify it as horror, although it kind of trollops along that spectrum. But it,
horror doesn't have to kill anyone.
I know, but
okay,
it doesn't. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to write the thing, and then you can tell me what you think it is. You'll probably be like, it's boring. That's what it is. I'm like, oh, I see. But
well, I'd say write the thing, and then you figure out what it is. Because when it's done, you'll probably be able to look at it a little bit differently because you know that you're going to implement things along the way.
Well, I just, every time I think about a project, I tend to think about how it's going to get marketed eventually. Like, who am I going to sell it to?
Yeah.
And I do think about that.
I think that's a bad way to go into it, unless you're trying to write for a specific market.
I'm not. I'm just trying to think: is there a market for it? That kind of thing.
Well, nowadays there's a market for anything. You just have to know.
Well, okay, but again, where? You got to be able to find it.
You just have to know how to sell it. That's all. Like, once it's done, you'll figure out what it is, and then when you figure out what it is, then you figure out where it's going. Genre is based on selling it anyway.
Yeah.
It's based on collecting it together with readers of a certain type. At least that's what it was originally.
Well, there is a market that I saw the other day. It pays, I think, 4 cents a word. I think it's Troll Breath or magazine or something like that. And I was like, all right. And I was looking at it, and now I don't have it. I don't know where I put it. But one of the things they said they like they had like a list of stories that they kind of just generally find pleasing, I guess, to kind of help out, writers write something they want to read, I guess. I don't know. But one of them was the lottery. Because when I first saw Troll Breath, I thought, I got a story with a troll, but I don't think that's really what it is. So, whatever. Oddly named magazine, but...
well, what do they want for troll stories?
I don't think they want troll stories. I just think that was the name.
So they're just trolling for stories?
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, Troll Breath magazine. It loads. It says Troll Breath magazine is a journal of speculative fiction, poetry, and nonfiction, publishing electronic issues on a quarterly schedule. Our interests are as varied as the endless amount of genres, from dark fantasy to hope punk to surrealism and everything in between.
Okay, so it's Speculative fiction.
Right. I just don't know. I'm like, when I saw the lottery, I thought,
your story would fit in because it's got a troll in it, but also because it's fantasy and that fits the bill.
that's true. That one does. But when I saw the lottery, I thought, that's kind of an outlier. There's nothing particularly speculative. I mean, it's weird, but I don't know. I don't think of it as being speculative. You've read the lottery, right?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. That one's like, you can find that one online. You should do it. It's great. By Shirley Jackson.
Oh.
By the way, I kind of dig this almost aged vibe going on right now. I realize it's just a layer, and whatever. I kind of dig it.
The tone.
Yeah. Not that it matters because I'm not buying it. But, I'll at least say, good job.
Yeah, I kind of like underpaintings too. But I think maybe for a different reason, because for me it's a value map.
Okay.
That's pretty much the purpose of it. Like it's a grisaille, but not in black and white. Have you done underpaintings?
Have I?
Yeah.
No.
I know you painted in watercolor, and they don't generally require an underpainting.
Okay.
But it's like mostly oils that you like do a grisaille on and then build off of it. You can use acrylics as watercolors or like you would oils. You can hear the cat being vocal.
I couldn't tell if it was a cat or someone talking
No.
like pictures on Charlie
No, he
Brown.
was meowing, or he's pretty much pretty obvious.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong, I give it just as much of I get more of a kick out of it. When he does it, that's kind of annoying, isn't it? When we first put this gate up in the kitchen, the cat was able to just smoothly walk right through it anytime he wanted to. Now he's gotten so fat in the time that we've had this gate up, which was like a couple of months, that he can't squeeze through it. Like he'll get halfway through it, and then you'll hear him scrabbling like he's a Chris Flintstone cartoon or something, trying to get through.
So, I've been working on trying to extend the reading stamina of my students, because they took these diagnostic tests and they had really good like phonics and sight word skills, but then their reading comprehension dropped off really bad. And I'm like, wait. So they understand phonics and sight words, which is the two major components. But you're telling me they can't read? Like, that sounds a lot to me like they just don't want to, because these tests don't matter to them. And I started looking, like, I gave them a half page to read. And they were just, you'd think I had killed their cat. And so I started with these really small, oh, hi, Digital Tantrum. So I started with these really small paragraphs with a few questions, and I just do it every day. And I hope to, like, I increase it every so often, like how many sentences are in the paragraphs, because I'm trying to do it gradually enough that they don't notice it, because right now they just think they're tiny and small and easy, and I want to extend that for as long as possible. So I wrote this paragraph last night about why walking tacos is one of the dumbest concepts ever. Just, first off, it's not a taco. Secondly, it's really just nachos in a bag.
Hi, DT. Long time no see. And yes, I know you said I didn't.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. And, walking tacos require forks and it's trash, whereas a regular taco, the original street food, is self-contained. Like, you have everything that goes in, walking tacos, only you also don't have trash. So I wrote this paragraph, and you would have thought I had, peed in their Cheerios or something. They were angry I would attack their beloved walking tacos.
So they really had reading comprehension. You just had to tease it out of them.
I think they do, but they don't care about those tests. And so they see these passages that are just, for you and me, nothing. It's, don't troll me, DT. Anyway. But I just think they give up, or they don't really pay attention. And now some of them do struggle, that's going to happen, but I think there are a lot more that
that was Eli's cat imitation.
Nice. That's why I think I have to build up their endurance. We ask them to sprint, a mile, and we've never had them run even a quarter mile. It's just, here you go. So, anyway. Love taco in a bag. Never saw it until it went to Canada. I'm like, where has this been all my life? What is wrong with you? Just get a taco. Like, have you ever had a street taco? I'm not sure you can improve upon perfection. And you definitely can't by putting it in a bag.
Did you just say a street taco?
Yeah.
Is that like a tougher one? Like, I'll cut you.
That's right. I eat them.
I cut you.
They're an original. They've been a street food forever. So, yeah, because you can walk around with them because they fit in your hand. DT's threatening me.
Street tacos. That just cracks me up, the father street tacos. That dangerous, man.
Okay, I can agree that taco in a bag is not a bad thing, because let's face it, it's a taco, sort of, deconstructed. It's really nachos in a bag, and still not bad. Oh. Yeah, I agree, DT. Still not steak. The whole concept of walking taco, as if a regular taco isn't mobile as much as a walk. You're even in a trash can. Just eat. Maybe you have a napkin, but you would need a napkin for the other one too. Just saying. It's these things that keep me up at night. This is why we can't have nice things.
We can't have a walkie taco. You might blow up.
Which is funny because I remember growing up, my mom would make something that she called haystacks. I don't know why she called them haystacks. I don't really care. They're basically nachos with rice. And it's basically a walking taco but on a plate. Just like nachos. Because that's, okay, whatever. And I love that stuff. And I enjoy tacos. But I gotta tell you, if there was a walking taco or a taco, I would just go for the taco. Yeah. Yeah, the walking taco part implies that it's somehow more mobile. Yeah, nacho bag makes more sense to me. Then I would be like, oh, genius! Nachos in a bag! Finally, I can walk around with nachos. So my boys' school had Spirit Days this week, and the first day was American West Day. Now, when I say American West, what does that mean to you?
Cowboys.
Is that all it is?
What's that?
Is that all it is?
No, but you know, that's a lot that you're trying to distill into one question.
Well, so I had
That's
one
like
son.
asking J.D. Vance what he won't say.
One son dressed up basically like he had frozen to death because Alaska is the westernmost state in the country, and he figured it's cold, so yeah, froze.
Well, there are really cold western states too.
Oh, I know. My other son dressed up like one of the chipmunks, either Chip or Dale, I don't know, because of Disney World or Land, whatever it is in California. Which, you know,
I guess.
well, it's in California. That's his, you know, it's pretty Western. That's Disneyland. So, you know, Hollywood Studios and all that. Both of them were told to take off their costumes. Meanwhile, my school has Spirit Days next week, and instead of calling it American West, they're calling it Country Western, which I think is way more definitive than American West.
It is. But I gotta say, I don't think of California when I think of the American West, even though it is.
It's hard to get much further west.
Hawaii.
And Alaska,
Alaska.
which Alaska is also the furthest east, but hey, whatever.
The furthest east.
Yep. Alaska is both the farthest east and west state because it crosses over the international date line. So part of it is super east and part of it is super west. Oh my God! I could not think of Jack London for
the
days.
easternmost point in the U.S. It's Eastport, Maine.
No, it's Alaska.
Look it up.
I
I
shall.
might be wrong, but the last I knew, that's exactly what it came up with: is Eastport, Maine.
Eastport, Maine is the first place that the sun touches
The first
the
place that the sun touches in the West,
West in the United States.
in the United States.
Yeah, that's only for the contiguous states. But it is not, because, again, Alaska crosses the international date line, which means part of it starts one day and the other one's not part of it. Yep. In the contiguous United States, the farthest east anyone can travel without tripping into the ocean is the lighthouse at West Waddy Head, or whatever that is, Maine. But this beautiful spot at the northeastern tip of the Pine Tree State is not actually the easternmost point of the U.S., that designation belongs, curiously, to a state that is considered part of America's West, Alaska. Yeah, it's an uninhabited Aleutian island called something I can't pronounce. It means having 7 hills. Apparently it's Russian. Ah.
You're talking about the Bering Straits.
It's part of that. I mean, part of that tail end of islands that Alaska has.
That would be the
And,
Bering Straits, right?
Yeah. And it's roughly around that area. And that's why it gets that distinction, which is weird because yeah. But yeah, contiguous is Maine. And then there are a few places more easterly than Maine. Guam, if you don't want to worry about, statehood. I mean, I suppose if you really want to get into it, it'd be someone's oh gosh dang it, embassy, because that's considered soil, but BTI could be wrong on the name of that, but hold on. Let me go back. Let me read once again. Really? So yeah, it extends into the east. Yeah, the international, it's a circle. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's just the fact that that part extends into the eastern hemisphere. Also, Alaska is damn near as wide as the entire the contiguous states. Technically. My wife wanted to live in Alaska, and we had friends that lived in Alaska. And I always thought, I'd rather not. I've never once thought to myself, you know what? I want to go somewhere generally cold. I could handle generally rainy, but not if it's also generally cold. At least not for like long extended periods. Rich, it looks amazing, but I'm out of beverage. I'm going to go fetch. I'll be right back. And I'm going to blow up your screen so that everyone can see. I do love this part of the process, especially as things. I just love it. I like the layering. It's always fun. I'll be back in a second, though. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm back. Had to change shirts. My son wants the shirt I was wearing for tomorrow. We had gotten this shirt. I don't know why my wife ordered it. It's this hairy chest shirt. And my son is going to wear it underneath a button-down shirt and then leave a lot of hairy chest exposed because it's just a t-shirt. Because, you know, that's what my family focuses on. Also, Digital Tantrum, I will have you know, I think through no small part of my effort, Dr. Pepper is now the second most popular soda in the country. And I played a part in that.
My turn for beveraging.
Oh. Cheers.
I didn't have to go far.
Eugene said, I love the surgical gloves. It gives the whole process this air of precision, as if Rich is doing museum restoration, meticulously discovering the art with each stroke. I could try to narrate it like a, a Man of the Wild type documentary thing. That'd be fun. He wears the gloves. Make sure he is unaccidentally snaring the gun out of his hands. Brush strokes. A calm company. Bring out the majesty of the figure within. Oh, it's not good enough to beat an impression.
What's that?
Oh, he said, let's hear your best Richard Attenborough. I can't even say his name. Impression.
Edinburgh?
Yeah.
You have to point your chin every time you say a word.
Ew.
Away.
Okay, pardon my ignorance, but is there any, how do I put this?
Ignorantly?
Huh?
I said ignorantly?
Well, yeah, that's
You
pretty
said
much what I'm
pardon
doing
my
here.
ignorance, so you can speak like a bitch.
Well, I'm about to. Is there like a black counterpart, or like to Conan, I guess?
The black counterpart?
Yeah, I'm like the same type of character, but black.
There's a guy doing a comic strip. I can't, his name's Trevor. His last name is African. It's like Nobois or something like that.
Yeah.
That's doing something very similar. As far as Robert E. Howard, no, but he did like Conan goes on all kinds of adventures, and he does have Conan associate and befriend black people in his adventures. I mean, they try to paint him like he's just a bigot or whatever, but Lovecraft was more so. Howard's earlier stuff, kind of reflects what Texans were feeling in the 20s, but he does change quite a bit. I'm not sure that he doesn't have a Pictish hero. Not that Picts are black. Why do I want to? In the Solomon Kane stories, there is an Aborigine, I guess. Really weird. That helps him track down an African vampire.
Okay.
Which is basically kind of a lot like a harpy.
So last time when we were on stream, I was talking about how I was feeling a bit overwhelmed with these two Venezuelan kids who don't speak any English.
Oh yeah, how's it going?
And so I got the class up and running. Didn't have a lot for them, but I had stuff for them. That was the first time, and they had to go through it a few times, like it's vocabulary stuff, so that was cool. And I got to talk to the woman who runs the ELL class, and then I started off with some real basic words, like yes, no, thank you, hello, goodbye, bathroom, water, food. And then one of them was like coaching the other one a little bit in class to say, can I go to the bathroom? Like before, they'd always just gone, Banyo? I was like, yeah, I know that one. So, I don't know, it's kind of neat to see him learn. So, Digital Tantrum says, I'm just going to put this bad boy up on the screen so everyone can read it, but I don't have to read it. It's rich. I looked it up. There's a character named Jabbar from the comic series The Rage of Poseidon, created by Charles R. Saunders. Jabbar is a warrior who embodies some of the traits as seen in Conan. Additionally, there is Cole the Conqueror, who has been depicted in various adaptations and shares similar themes. While they may not be exact counterparts to Conan, they capture that heroic warrior spirit.
Cole is not black, and he's also Conan's forefather. Cole's the Atlantean and Conan's a partial Atlantean. That's why Conan's as big as he is, because Cole was like 7 feet tall or something like that.
Digital Tantrum must now flog himself 3 times or thrice with a wet noodle.
Yeah, like I think Howard said weeks before he died that Cole was Conan's ancestor.
Okay. Marinated beef for beef jerky.
What?
Well, I said Digital Tantrum had to, thrash himself thrice with a wet noodle. He says he's not doing carbs. So I figure strips of marinated beef for jerky.
Well, the Chinese do shrimp noodles. They're not made of. They're made of shrimp.
Well, there are other ones that are. I forget what. I know how to find them at the store, but I don't remember what they're made out of. But they're pretty good. They got a weird bite to them a little bit, but overall they were. If you rinse them off, because they come stinky, it's weird. And then, but if you haven't had any carbs for a while, they were pretty darn good. And then people started doing more stuff, and what they're called. But they're definitely like Japanese or Chinese or something. It's like some kind of bean noodle thing, I think. Oh well. What? Oh, shirataki mushrooms. Not mushrooms. Shirataki noodles. Shirataki noodles. That's what it is. Or something like that. Yeah. Shirataki noodles. Yeah. I was right. And I don't know what they're made out of. I don't really care. They're kind of anything. got to work this morning, and I only had 2 pops in my fridge. And I knew that wasn't going to cut it. And it did not. But I texted my son because they had an e-learning day today. So it's like, dude, I need pop or someone's going to be threatened or something. I'll lose my job. I'll just go spastic. Give me some pop. And he was on it and brought it to me during my prep, which is second hour. And life was good again. But then I was like, because like we'll give him our cards to go buy groceries and stuff, and my wife dumps money directly into his account so he can go buy stuff. And then I was like, "You got $20 on you?" And I felt kind of bad because I was there. I didn't have any cash, and there was a fundraiser. And he's like, "Oh, what are they selling?" And I told him. And I was going to get these cinnamon rolls because I normally will buy one thing from one kid. And that way when everyone comes begging for, can you buy this? Like, no, I teach. I don't make enough money to buy the most expensive crap ever. But buy one kid, makes that kid happy, whatever. But, and this one tricked me. The brochure had Albany's Gummy Bears logo on it. So I was excited to look. Except for that wasn't what they're selling. That was like one of the rewards that the sellers get. And I was like, oh, that's not fair. So since my son, though, knew about the fundraiser, he's like, get me red velvet cake. So the $20 that he gave me was really for him. I don't know why he likes red velvet cake so much. I'm just jumping on everyone's food choices today. First the walking taco, now red velvet cake. I'm a good budget.
Buddhist.
Yep. The problem with red velvet cake is, why is it red? And what's it really supposed to taste like? It's not supposed to taste like velvet. So I'm guessing that's supposed to be a texture thing, which it never really seems to have anyway. And I don't get it. It confounds me.
That's probably why he likes it.
It does not taste like red. I have never once had a popsicle taste like red velvet cake. Red popsicles taste like red. I thought red was tropical. Oh, okay. It's more like this is what red Crayola crayons taste like. It's not that bad. Like, I could eat red velvet cake.
My wife made pumpkin chocolate chip bread.
Yeah? I'd eat that.
Well, it fucking smelled like Play-Doh. Like, that doesn't smell like pumpkin. He's like, oh, the house smells all great. And I'm like, it smells like Play-Doh. She's got no sense of smell, so...
I think this is pretty representative of our target audience. Oh, not that one. See, it's our target me too. How about that one? There we go. That's representative of our target audience. I miss eating Play-Doh.
no expectation of these.
So I had this student who was beginning to tell me this story, and she started off with, so this one time when I was little, and I was like, yeah, you're going to have to narrow it down a little bit because you all are little. I don't know what you're talking about. And she kind of got huffy.
Little.
Okay. And this one girl was like, my brother's 5'8". I'm like, yeah, how old is he? He's in his 20s. Oh, so he's done. Okay. My boys are both taller than that, so. The other day, my boys came home from school and they were all huffy because they had a drill, an active shooter drill. That's what it's called. And during the active shooter drill, where everything's locked down, they had drug sniffing dogs go through the halls, and they thought that was. They were lying to us. We just had to have that thing so they could have the dot. And I was like, weren't you telling me just the other day that when you went to your weights class, the weights smelled like weed? Like, didn't you tell me that administrators were coming in going, oh my God, what's that smell? And then like 3 days later, you have an active shooter drill and they bring in dogs to sniff around for weed? Like, they're not dumb. Come on. They're like, oh yeah, I guess that does make sense. Like, yeah. Because they don't want to go through and just say, publicly, hey, we searched the school for drugs because our weight room smelled so potently that the weights themselves were getting high. Sorry, Digital Tantrum, I did not. He thought I was going to say they found growth hormone in the weight class. This is the first year my boys have ever taken weightlifting. They've done swimming for years and years and years. And they were getting into weights last couple of years. Like they would go and work out with now the coach at Indiana Wesleyan University, and it's not something I would have thought they would necessarily want to take, but they both were like, yeah, let's take weights. All right. By the way, Rich, I know you were needling me a little bit about my novel, but I was actually kind of hoping I was going to get the chapter done tonight. And I did not, but I was like, yeah.
You're saying needling, but really what I'm trying to do is inspire you to go on.
Oh, I know. I mean that you, when I say needling, I just mean that you're nudging. You know? You're like, hey, do something cool. Yeah, I don't mean that you're like nagging. No. I knew exactly what you were doing. You were saying you were trying to get me to get something done. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah.
I was trying to bolster you and stay on course, right?
Yeah, exactly. In a nice, good-humored way.
Otherwise known as banter.
Yeah. But I want you to know I finished it because I wanted, or got close to finishing it, because I wanted to finish it, not because you said anything. It's all my idea. Tell my wife that kind of stuff all the time. Fine, I'll do it, but it's my idea. Not because you told me to.
The cool thing about an underpainting,
Yeah?
especially like this where I'm doing a tonal underpainting, is you tone the paper so that all the surface is covered when you're done, no matter what, right?
Okay.
But you can actually let it fade to underpainting in places for effect. So you're not really letting it fade, you're just not really finishing some stuff, you're just kind of leaving it in those tones.
Yeah.
I guess that mostly was in response to you saying earlier that you really like the tonal painting.
Well, I do. I just find it's a neat process. It's a neat look. And,
Well, and it also allows you options so that that's what I was saying, like you have the options to not finish it all every little step of the way and kind of get that painterly aspect of it, being somewhat raw. I don't know if I told anybody at the beginning of the video, this is burnt umber. I'm doing the underpainting in burnt umber, which is not exactly uncommon. One of the cool things about acrylics too is that when you're layering like this, you're doing thin layers.
yeah.
When I go back over with the next layer, whatever I hit that's already here and dried, it's darkened a little. So I don't have to darken it all at one time. Because every consecutive pass adds a little bit more. I would say that's a double-edged sword if I was doing just this kind of sepia light colored thing, because if you go over the go to the lines onto the body or something that you're not intending to, it's going to darken every consecutive pass too. But because this is an underpainting, we have no intention just to let it stand there.
Yeah. See, I still think, well, one of two things. When I was in college and I was taking this drawing class where I got this 9-foot drawing that I had to do, which was god-awful expensive. And I remember I was drawing the
musculature system and using this stupid, God, I bought so many Scarlet pencils. And, just whatever. It took me forever. My hands hurt. It was rough. And there was this girl on my floor who just could blaze through these things and get really good coverage. And I remember the professor saying, I think I know what you're doing, but I'll just keep my mouth shut. That's what he said. And I think he saw that she was doing some kind of either a wash on top or an underpainting below to make sure she had good coverage. So she didn't have to spend as much time getting the wax down. She could have a lighter touch. And part of me is kind of pissed. If that's what it was, I'm kind of pissed because that's kind of his job to teach us, technique versus most art classes, I swear, are just go forth, do do this thing that I've told you to do. And
I see it all the time that people that went to art college and art school or whatever, they have the credentials, but other than that, they pretty much had to learn on their own anyway. They're just given a place to work.
Yeah. And it is, I think YouTube is a boon to that. But, that's just me, I guess. But,
Well,
kind of makes me bitter.
I'm not bitter. It's the other way around. I am a fan of so many artists and so many different styles.
Yeah.
That I friend them. Every time I see someone on Facebook that does artwork that I like, I'm sending them a friend request. And after I followed their page and liked their page and all that for a while, I'll message them and ask them questions like how do you get this look and how do you get that look. And I told Michael Whalen, man, I would love to see a procedural. I would love to see you paint in a procedural. And he's been asked that before, obviously. And he said he doesn't do it because he changes his procedures every time. He changes his technique every painting. Sometimes he'll use an airbrush for your background layer, and sometimes he won't. Sometimes he'll just layer it like this.
Yeah.
But he did write down basically his approach. So I asked Jen, he said how to pronounce his name and now I forgot it. I want to say 𝒏𝒂𝒏, but it's like 𝒏𝒂𝒏𝒈 or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I've asked him questions. He's more than willing to share. If you follow him on Facebook, he'll show you procedures, procedural shots of his paintings. When they're done, he'll show you them from the underpainting stage, from the drawing stage to the underpainting stage to the blocking and all that. So it's really cool. Him and Joe Dusko both were very forthcoming with technique. But when you talk about that, I see all these people that went to art school that they're like, yeah, I shouldn't have wasted my money. Now I'm in debt, and I didn't really learn anything, that I couldn't have learned outside. And I was like, wow, I'm glad somebody said that, but I think that they missed the little things that they learned, little tricks or techniques or whatever that they learned that they put into play that they never really considered like that. I think that there's a lot of information that they have. They just, when you start using that information, you kind of tend to forget the first steps, the baby steps or whatever. Like I'm like what you're saying. Like when I was in high school, I took art, and I was so hoping, they would teach me to use an airbrush, and they would teach me this, and they would teach me that. And no, they didn't. They just taught me the basics of pretty much everything, like the basics of painting. And like, here, do this still life. But they didn't teach any of this stuff. They didn't teach underpainting and grisaille and the techniques that the masters use and whatever.
Well,
like when I went to go and learn about using the airbrush, she told me, "Do you have an airbrush?" I'm like, no. Why would I go out and buy an airbrush if I don't know how to use it? Like if I don't know anything about using it, why would I buy an airbrush?
Right.
Like I need to be able to know that I'm going to get instruction before that. What kind of airbrush should I buy? What kind of airbrush should I start out with? You know what I mean?
Right.
There was one kid in class that was using an airbrush, and she's like, "Oh, well, he has his own." Well, it's like lost on the teacher what's going on. And she was one of these that she had this drawing of a log that she is a really hyper realistic drawing of a log, and I'm guessing that's like her final art project or something.
Yeah.
In art school, because it was a really important thing for her, and it was pretty realistic. But let's face it was a log. So what she told me is that she's like, I went out every day so that the sunlight was the same, and drew this log every day with the same lighting until the lighting changed and then left.
Okay, so she did an impressionist technique.
No, she did. It was hyper realism. It's not a painting of a drawing, but
I'm just,
it was hyper realistic only because she went there at the same time to get the same lighting every day. But so basically, this drawing that she did when she's teaching, ninth graders maybe, she did this painting, and it took her a week and a half, or drawing, it took her a week and a half because she kept going out at the same time. Well, that's great, but what ninth grader do you know, honestly, is that patient, in a drawing? They're going to go out and draw the same thing every time. Just add a little bit more onto that tree trunk, or add a little bit more. It was a log floating.
If you're going for hyper-realism, why wouldn't you just take a photo? I understand painting it, but I'm saying if you want the light the same.
There is an answer to that,
okay.
Really. Because a photo doesn't show you, it doesn't give you the same, like if you're out there watching or out there looking at it, you see it shifting, or the light shifting around it, you actually literally see it 3D in space. You're not looking at a 2D printout of something, or a 2D image that's captured on the computer that can flatten out things that shouldn't be flat for it. So the answer is really to try to keep it true to the object in space. You hear that with model and drawing from life drawing all the time, is that the camera really decides what it captures. And what you're going to follow a camera, you're going to follow what the camera decided to capture instead of what you decide to capture. And yes, hyperrealism is a little bit different, but cameras, cameras lose a little bit. They don't have 100% true color and they're 100% true everything. So
yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. If you're painting hyperrealism, the reason why I say use a photo.
That's a drawing, but yeah, I mean, okay.
Okay, if you're drawing hyperrealism, and you want the light is not the same every single day. In fact, it's not the same any 2 days, and it's similar enough, but you're going to have to interpret that. And again, it's not that I don't think you should go out and draw or paint from real life, but I question it with hyperrealism. Like, I get it with impressionism because it's part of the whole trying to capture the moment and the way the light is, and knowing that the light often changes, and so I think impressionism does it better, and I don't understand the point of doing hyperrealism from life because it's the same light, because it's not the same light. And
well, you'd have to argue that with her. And
well, yeah, I mean that's fine.
I'm not giving that advice. I'm saying, what ninth grader you figure has got the patience to even do that, right?
Right.
She's talking about something she did in college or whatever, in art school or art college or whatever. Not what she did in high school. It comes right back down to the why don't you teach me what I want to learn theory. And she wanted to cover as many different types of art as she could instead of allowing people to focus. So you'd have to stay there until your senior year to be able to focus on whatever you wanted to. And at the time, I was not a fan of art history at the time.
Yeah.
At the time, I just wanted to learn the art techniques so that I could do like this. I kind of think that it cheated kids a little bit. Because of that, it didn't really allow them to experiment and follow the things that they wanted to follow. But I can understand teaching you the basics. That's what the value is in a lot of art college, right?
Right. Yeah. My experience with art college is... Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Let me be clear, for me, I don't have any experience with art college. I just have experience of talking to people who attend the art college.
Anyway, like I was saying, my experience with art school is a lot like my experience with creative writing classes. I learned some things in creative writing classes every once in a while, and I'm not going to say I didn't, but there was a lot of stuff that I feel like should have been taught that wasn't. And it was mostly just, here's a due date. Go write something. Occasionally I learned some things, and the books that they told us to buy, those were useful. If you're just starting out with the whole writing process, I would recommend certain books, not necessarily the ones they did, but at least I learned some things. But a lot of it was just, here's a due date. And how do you, I have a creative writing minor, and no one taught me about Shun manuscript.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like the English department teaches me MLA. Why can't you guys? You know, it's like I just so. And I'm not trying to like I had some really great teachers at Ball State, and there are some teachers in the art department that I thought were amazing. But I don't know if I necessarily. I guess I have to trust that I learned something from doing their exercises. But a lot of times when it felt like technique and hacks and stuff wasn't on their list. Their list was just to see what you could do and then grade it. It wasn't to really tell you how to. They taught us a little, I guess, but I'd already had an oil painting class in high school, so when I took it in college, you know, there was stuff that I was like all right, there were a couple things, like small minor things. Like she found it abhorrent that I wasn't wearing gloves. I was like, oh, okay, here. Right.
I'm just being facetious. I normally don't wear gloves. I actually like to get paint on my fingers when I'm doing this so I can, you know, smudge and whatever with some control. The gloves actually take some of the control away because the gloves slide around your fingers and do what they want.
Yeah. There were some things that I picked up, and there were a couple things in the writing courses, like I had never been taught and I had never noticed really about. I knew about third person limited, but I didn't really understand that was kind of normal, more normal now than third person omniscient.
Right, and there's third person limited, third person omniscient, and then third person distant.
Right.
Which is kind of a combination of them. Like, it used to confuse me because a lot of the writers that I read, especially in the 80s, they were pretty much still writing in either omniscient or third person distant, where they could kind of head hop. And I felt like I was cheated because I was cheating if I head hopped. Like, you know, it was pretty clear whose mind you were in. And I think as long as you're making it clear, that shouldn't, you know, go against you. But I've read like all of David Gemmell's books, and they're all either third person omniscient or third person distant. I would say omniscient, but they can get pretty tight in to a point of view, and then they back off. So,
well, this idea that I've had, I got an idea for another short story today. Not that I was working on my novel. Okay, calm down. I haven't started this yet. But I was thinking about it because I was like...
I'm not the one that suffers from you not finishing your novel.
I know. But
I'm just trying to support you on finishing your novel.
When I was thinking about it, I was thinking... oh, that's a pun worth sharing. But I think for this particular short story, a third person omniscient is the way to go. Like I'm just thinking like the lottery is one reason why I was thinking about it, because I was the right tone for that, which I'm telling you really should look up a copy of that. It's a relatively fast read and it's wonderful. But
I think that's subjective though.
Oh,
like relative, not only it's wonderful, but like a relatively fast read, because some things that I know that I read fast, other people don't, and some things that other people read fast, they slog fast.
Hey, digital tantrum, fun aside, the guy that taught me Taekwondo, Master Rodney Howard, he
at one point in time was an instructor for paratroopers. I think he went over to Greece and was training them and stuff. And he said that part of it, he would have to get on a plane, go up, jump out, come down, get another pack, go up, and just over and over and over again. And due to the speed of some of it, he didn't get to pack his own chute all the time, and one of them did not open correctly. And he said he had until the end of his life to figure out how to get it to open, which I thought was a pretty good view. But had to figure out. He got it to open, but he had to work on it apparently.
I bet you he worked on it pretty fucking quick.
Well, I bet you it would become really important all of a sudden.
You know? Like the only thing that matters.
I know where Joe's living. It was skydiving capital of the world, and there's a few potholes in the tarmac.
Nice.
One of them is a pretty big pothole in the tarmac, and the guy got up and walked away.
Huh.
Skydiving accident around here.
Just dusted off. Was like, that's
Well,
how
I
we do
wouldn't
it.
say dusted off, and I wouldn't say strolled away. But, if you can bounce off fucking tarmac and leave a pothole look like a crater and get up and limp away, you're good, right?
Yeah. Digital Tantrum said, take a man on an airplane and he will fly for a day. Throw him out of an airplane and he will fly for the rest of his life. I think that's very true. Yeah, so, don't get me wrong, and I'm not trying to make fun of anything, but because there's a lot that goes into this, I promise. But the 7th graders that I have aren't necessarily the fastest at recognizing a joke, which is kind of common, because they never think teachers or especially not in writing, oh dear Lord. Trying to teach something that's funny it's explaining a joke. It just doesn't work. But English teachers still try. But they were having spirit days, and one of the days is dressed like a senior citizen. And so I was looking over the list, and I was like, oh, Tuesday is dressed like a teacher day. And just walked away. And the girl's like, no, it's not. It's dressed like a senior citizen. I was like, uh-huh. And just waited for a minute. And waited for it. Are you saying teachers are old? Yes.
Only the ones that survive.
Yeah. I don't think it was a digital tantrum. I was thinking I should put that into a question I have somewhere. Just a little fake answer just to make them go, wait, hold on.
So, in the 𝑩𝒂𝒓𝒃𝒂𝒓 server,
Yeah.
in the writing section, this kid was, young guy. I don't know how old he was. I'm saying kid because at my age, they're all kids, right? Teacher. Anyway, he's proposing like trying to write out a 3-panel comic or something like that.
Yeah.
And it hit every single one of the 3 grunts. So I've mentioned them before, but I rewrote them out so that people would know what I'm talking about when I said it, and so that that person would know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And 𝒏𝒅𝒄𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒏𝒈, he comes in and laughs, ha ha, so he grunts, and I'm like, well, I didn't name it, Orson Scott Card did.
Yeah.
And I was like, matter of fact, me and Brett met at Hat Track, like, because I was like, I didn't just make this stuff up. I've been studying writing for a long time.
Yep.
It was funny that he thought I made up the three grunts. I'm like, no, Orson Scott Card's a Mormon, so he probably wouldn't say the three things that you call bullshit on.
Yeah.
So,
although I mean, it's supposed to be a noise that the reader makes or something. Like you can watch it, wait for it. But.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what they're saying, though, is that they're going to get upset and drop what they're reading because they've been cheated in some way or another, or they just can't understand what's going on. And that's what I was trying to explain, but it's like, I didn't know you didn't make that up. Like, so no, I didn't know it had a history. I thought you came up with it on the spot. I was like,
Huh? Oh.
I cannot take credit for Orson Scott Card's work.
Why not? Just, put it in a book, call it something else, call it the...
Because then somebody would call it plagiarism. Their words, not mine.
But, you could have one howling good book on writing and just steal a bunch of stuff from other people. Make it a nice condensed, version. That was one of the things I just thought when I worked I worked for Hyatt Printing in college, which I think is defunct now, but they would do these printed books that the professor, like just articles the professor found and wanted for his class, and they would put a royalty on top of it because the professor had collected these articles, and for that you should pay him more to take the class. It was such a rip-off scam. Oh, God! That was lovely. That was beautiful and majestic.
You saw me for a half second before you screamed.
What?
You saw me before you screamed.
I saw something. I thought it was your mom.
Hey, you think he'll be alright with that?
Yes.
Can you tell? Did you see it?
Yes. My son is testing out his Spirit Day thing, and he was showing me his majestic, fake, hairy belly that he's wearing.
And you thought it was his mom?
Well, I just saw something out of the corner of my eye, and I knew my wife
You're
was in the room. And then I look over, and it was not my wife. And, I was a little taken aback.
What does she think about you calling her a furry?
We've been together long enough. It doesn't matter.
We all get mustaches as they grow older.
That is so far not accurate.
Or she hasn't gotten old yet. So there. Save that one.
Or she puts it in the bathroom.
I don't care.
I'm just kidding.
The worst part is she
It's
can't
like
hear
you guys
me.
have hairy ears and shit. Oh, guys have hairy ears.
And then she keeps talking, and I really can't hear her because I have earbuds in. So she might be saying something. Really.
She's not.
What?
You said she can't hear you, and I said, nor does she care.
Oh, okay.
And you said, she might be saying something, and then I said, she's not.
Love you.
That's an interesting way to start a conversation.
What?
Anything at that point.
Yeah.
That's like, you aren't even listening. Well, that's an interesting way to start a conversation.
What?
Oh. I have a fantastic meeting before school tomorrow, and I swear to God, there are meetings at least one a week, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Like, I go into these meetings, and I'm like, you get a little bit over here, then a little bit over here, and a little bit over here, and I'm like, where does all of this come together in any meaningful way?
Yes, DT, that was sarcasm.
Oh. No, there's never an agenda sent out for these meetings. Like this. Okay, so this particular one, I happen to know. There's a chapter out of a book we were supposed to read, which I did, and then we're supposed to discuss it. And I'm like, oh God, that's dumb. I don't like. I read the chapter, and like I was reading the chapter, and I'm like, yep, true story. I've been saying this for years. Like, I'm reading this, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, I agree with this, and whatever. I mean, so it's not like I don't want to read it. I have no problem with that. It's just then they give me a homework assignment. I'm like, this is ridiculous, and I get why they do the homework assignment, because otherwise people won't read something. But, you know, at some point you have to trust your employees or not, and it bothers me. I feel like we have people on staff sometimes who feel like they have to justify their existence, and they do that through meetings. And I rarely need to be there. Oh, digital tantrum. I wish I could show up because there's no agenda, but that is not how it works. So I saw a trailer for a Lego. I don't even know if it was a movie or it was a. I think it was a movie. It may have been a game, but I think it's a movie. You know what? I'm pretty certain it's a movie. I suppose I could look it up. I don't know. But so it's oh, it's a TV series. Okay, so it's going to be a TV series, and it's called Lego Star Wars: Rebuild the Galaxy. And you know, it's a Lego movie, but it seems kind of like they're trying to possibly retcon the sequels out of existence. Oh, Digital Tantrum. Are we talking about the Pharrell movie? Yeah, that was kind of. I see the trailer for that. I thought that was kind of. I was like, that's kind of weird. But kind of interesting. It looks so. Rich, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the Pharrell. I'm pretty sure it's Pharrell Lego movie. Digital Tantrum saying it looks so artistic and different and not the same-o. But also your work looks amazing. So you still have that in there. But yeah, the whole this. I realize this is kind of stupid. But it seems kind of like it almost has a Into the Spider-Verse vibe. But like Lego, I don't know why I feel that way, but it's obvious they're not really dealing with, I guess, a grounded interpretation. So, you know, they can kind of change some of that. It's more, it's kind of a neat idea. I'm not sure I'll see it in theaters, just because it sounds like a movie that a lot of kids would be mistakenly going to, and then I'd have to deal with a bunch of screaming kids.
So I'll probably go. I'll just wait for it to come out, watch it at home.
So, Digital Tantrum in the Star Wars Lego Rebuild the Galaxy, they get this piece and it changes the whole universe, and they have to fix the universe, which to me kind of seems like a soft reboot type thing. Like, oh hey, we fixed a good chunk of it, but we couldn't quite save the sequels. But like, it's got like a Darth Jar Jar looking thing, and Darth Vader all in white with a white lightsaber. I mean, it's weird. And I had heard rumors that Disney was looking at ways to retcon.
Darth Vader is white knighting.
He is.
Well, now that James Earl Jones is dead, he gave permission to use his voice.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Well, that was nice of him. I would hope that...
his family probably gets benefits from it.
Well, good. I hope so. But...
Well, I'm not downing that. I'm just saying that's probably why, is that's a source of income for his family.
I would absolutely hope that they're going to reap the benefit. But in fact, that's one of the best things I can think of. You know, artistically, like, yeah, if you get a really good IP, you should be able to leave some serious money to children.
Especially yours.
Digital Tantrum said, I taught my kids at an early age that if a nondescript van rolls up with a strange man inside that tries to show them the Star Wars prequels, to immediately run the other way and find a sane person with taste. I'm not. I have never seen a Star Wars film that I thought was complete garbage. Like, even the prequels, which I think had failings.
The entire fucking the entire end of the trilogy, right? The new trilogy.
Well, the sequel trilogy is. It's just obvious.
The first one wasn't complete garbage. It had possibility. It's either the second or the third one where the whole fucking theory is that you don't tell your fucking people what's going on and you run towards a fucking planet there's only one way in and out of.
That's the
and
second.
Hope people are going to come and, like, yeah, so there's plenty of people that, or plenty of commanders that were in the Rebel Alliance that proved valuable to have them win in the first place, and you're just going to throw them off to the side so that you can hope that all the ships that get blown up along the way, you know, will slow them down or make other people come and join your cause.
Well, I think that that second film in the
I wanted my money back.
trilogy, I think that's the first time you see a really, I would say they pushed an agenda more than they pushed a story. And because I really think they thought that was great writing, because a woman was going to tell a man, you know, to basically shut up and just do what you're told.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be great. Like, that's an agenda-driven message. And
but more importantly, it sucks for the movie and the character.
I agree. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. All of the films have certain flaws.
Oh, that goes beyond certain flaws.
Well, okay, but I mean, I've always found some escapism in the films, and
oh, me as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't watch.
But I mean, the sequels, to me, the biggest problem is that they did not have anything close to a trilogy in mind. Like, they had the mentality of standalone films, but they tried to do sequels that way. It just didn't work. Like, you don't have a strong enough through line. You just, it's just jumbled.
I think they completely fucked up. They they blew it. They had
Okay.
a fucking John Boyega's character should not have been one that ends up being fucking comedy relief.
No.
He
No.
should have been. He should have been something. He had. He was a person of color that could have been a hero, and he was kind of a hero in the first one, although woman, right?
Yeah, but you know why he could? This is pure conjecture, and I could be completely wrong, but I really think the reason why John Boyega ended up being the comedic relief is because of China. And I've said it, my conspiracy theory, there you go. Because when China is telling them, you got to shrink John Boyega's character down from the movie poster and all this stuff for Chinese markets, it kind of tells you that, they're trying to appease a Chinese viewer, and the diversity that should have been celebrated wasn't, specifically because of China.
Well, see, the thing is that he had the opportunity to be a good character regardless of what his color was. That was the thing that was important for me, is that I didn't care about his color, right?
Right.
I don't know. I guess I don't know about it for you or anybody else, but I didn't care about his color.
No, it's the fact that here's a stormtrooper, he was defecting.
Yeah, and he really, and this is the thing too. He was the Luke. He was the innocent character. Like he doesn't have a comedic. He doesn't have a comedic charisma, but he had that innocent kind of Luke Skywalker charisma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just thought that he could have done so much better. Like Adam Driver, I think they made him a spoiled punk. I didn't think he was scary. I didn't think he was worthy of being a villain. Matter of fact, his mask reminded me like of a DuckTales version of Darth Vader. It was like fucking Count Duckula, and Darth Duck, and whatever.
Well, I still thought it was better when the mask was on than when the mask comes off.
Well, yeah, but it didn't matter because it was like he was wearing a Halloween costume the whole time. There was no need for him to wear the mask. He was just trying to imitate Grandpa.
I think, and I think Digital Tantrum kind of
Only
mentioned
with a
this.
sucky fucking mask.
They had all of the ingredients for success, and it's kind of like they felt like it was beneath them because it's a pop culture thing. It's not art.
I think so they tried to destroy what everybody had been expecting, what everybody wanted.
Well, yeah, you got to subvert their expectations.
Yeah,
which is almost always code for piss off the people that need your money.
Right. Subverting expectations doesn't mean pissing people off that are your fans.
Right.
People that have been waiting for stuff for years and they're buying your merchandise.
Well, Digital Tantrum, in theory, I agree. I mean, I agree with when you don't have one clear vision, they fail. But I don't think J.J. Abrams is the guy to have a clear vision. And, I mean, I just look at what he's done in other franchises, and he's great at making interesting promises. He's terrible on delivery. He's kind of like the Ponzi scheme of storytelling. As long as you can keep doing.
I thought that was Scott Snyder.
Okay.
Or who's that? Who's that one that did the Netflix one we were watching?
Oh, yeah, Snyder.
Yeah, the same one that did the Justice League and turned Superman dark, and
Yeah, well, J.J. Abrams did Lost, and look at the ending of that. It's a giant
well,
screw up.
first of all, that was a TV show. Second of all, I didn't watch it.
Well, okay, but it ended poorly, and because they didn't really have a good solution to the mystery box, which is what J.J. Abrams liked to do. And then J.J. Abrams took over for Star Trek, which I kind of like because he tried to make it more like Star Wars, but it's very episodic. There's no real overarching thing, and that's good.
I think he put together an excellent cast.
Well, okay. I just don't think he's the guy to deliver the ending on anything. So maybe if J.J. Abrams was like,
Stephen King of movies, you know?
I just think if he did executive producer, where he has a say in how things are done and can kind of have a vision, but I'd want it nailed. I'd want Kathleen Kennedy or whoever's in charge to nail down what the end goal is before they start anything. Digital Tantrum, I agree. I thought J.J. Abrams captured the feel. But, I mean, look at, God, everything about that movie. They find Luke's lightsaber, and they're like, oh, yeah, you'll find out more about that later. We'll give you ghost visions that seem to promise something, because that's cool, and we'll get people salivating, or the Knights of Ren. That'll be cool. We'll hint about that. It's the boy who cried wolf over and over and over again. Well, it's fine. I don't think anyone. J.J. Abrams said he didn't really have a clear vision for 3 films. Kathleen Kennedy said they weren't really doing a plotted out storyline. It's like, well, but that's not really. That's not how you should probably do sequels, or not a trilogy. Like if it's good, and I'm okay. I have been saying for years, give me standalone Star Wars films. I think it's a great idea. It's a wonderful universe. I enjoyed Solo. It could have been better, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Rogue One, even though that's really part of the series more than anything else, but still. Give me a Mandalorian film. I don't care. It doesn't all have to be Skywalker. Give me one from the Knights of the Old Republic. Give me, I don't care.
It's probably
Even
fucking
stuff
bunch of
like-
material that they could use. That's just a cop-out. They had the Thrawn trilogy. There's like 18 Thrawn books. There's no way that they would run out of good material that's already been written with those characters. Or even other characters.
Right. I just.
They've already got material written in trilogy and more than that.
But, yeah, I would.
I know a lot of people that were disappointed that they weren't doing Thrawn.
Well, I wasn't really worried about that. I mean, it might have been. They are kind of doing Thrawn with.
They didn't say worried about it. I'm like talking about that's what the expectation was. Is that
Well,
if they were going to do the next set of trilogies, it would have been Thrawn because that would be the natural progression of the story. And then they changed the canon.
Okay.
So,
but they've introduced Thrawn, and they.
yeah, but not in his natural form.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. If you're going to do a trilogy, you need to have that planned out. If you're going to do single episodes, which you absolutely could, then you don't have to worry about it as much, as long as you don't do anything that's canon destroying, like, I don't know, the entire Acolyte series. But
Good night, Digital Tantrum. He says it looks great. Or maybe he's saying it looks like great, rich Corinthian leather. I don't know.
Well, I appreciate any compliments. I don't get enough of them, really. I don't have a big head because I don't get enough compliments to make me have a big head.
Okay. He also said that he is envious of your paintings.
Don't be envious. Just work. You'll get it. I certainly had to work at this.
Ugh.
I'm still working at it. This is the underpaint. I'm a living testament to if you keep at it, you're going to get somewhere. And you at art school, so you probably get there better than me.
Today we were going over personal pronouns, and I wanted to make sure they understood the difference between it apostrophe s and its, you know, the contraction versus the possessive.
Yep.
And I mentioned how people screw it up all the time. Like adults screw this up all the time. And this kid was like, wait, how is it they screw it up if they went to school? I was like, well, because they learned one rule where you put it apostrophe s if it's possessive, but that clashes with the fact that we have a contraction. We've got to figure out which one's which. So this, there's an exception to the rule, and that's the part people have trouble remembering. And I explained how I remember the difference. I always think that the apostrophe is like the dot of the I, for it is. And, I'm just trying to, that's how my brain works, at least.
Mnemonics, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know why it's set up this way, because I really don't. No one ever taught me why they decided to go that way. But I was like, that's the way it is. This is how I remember it. Hopefully you got, you'll be tested over it. So,
more than just know the difference. It's here's a way to remember. But we'll see.
I haven't seen Allison in a little bit.
Nope. It's like she got her birthday present and then ran away.
Yep. Don't need nothing in them.
It's just, I feel so used. All right, everything. just remembered that on Monday, I'm scheduled to take my classes to the library. And it's Western Day, or Country Western Day to be exact. And I have a bit of a costume. That library's on the 3rd floor. I may end up taking the elevator for the very first time. Normally I don't do it. I'll just walk up the 8 bajillion steps. Figure it's better for me. But if I got a costume on, I don't know if I'll be able to. It's one of those inflatable ones where it looks like you're riding a horse. It's going to be awesome. The best part is, my room is right next to the principal's office, so I don't plan on wearing it into the building. I'm going to wear it, like I'll go to my classroom on Monday, put it on there. So the first time she ever sees it will probably be when I'm going to the library. And she may have to wonder, what the heck is wrong with her English teacher? So you're just using that burnt umber, right?
Yep. Water.
Because, I mean, some of that almost looks blue. Okay, never mind. That's a tint the glass was putting on it from my desk. I think.
Well, they're very thin layers,
Yeah.
and you can see the pencil through a lot of them. Like, I don't think we're gonna finish the whole underpainting tonight. Most of it, which is really what I'm doing now, is finishing up the kind of background here. The background doesn't, it's nowhere near as dark as the foreground. And that's the whole point. You want the things in focus to be cleaner and crisper.
All right, Rich, I gotta. I'm getting ready to fall over.
Well, I'm pretty much there myself. That's what I was saying.
I was
There's no
trying.
way I'm gonna be. There's no way I'm gonna finish this whole painting tonight or under painting tonight. But I got a big chunk of it done, so
Yeah, you did.
the tone is there. Like I need to do some small stuff in here and touch up the sword and do some small stuff in the gems, and then it's pretty much moving on to the next step. So.
Cool.
So that means this episode is coming to a close.
There it is.
Thank you for everybody that liked, subscribed, followed. Thanks to you for commenting, keeping us company for a while.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all those kinds of things. It helps support the arts. And
Let
artists.
us know that you're liking what we're putting out there. So, good night. God bless. Much love.
Peace.